If you work for 30 days, but your salary only lasts for 7 days, come here. Let's fix that.
Hello guys, have you watched this video? Let's watch it together.
Anyways, before we get right into the juice of the whole thing, it's another gentle reminder. Once again, we are here to tell you that if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, you are wrong, absolutely wrong. So why not kindly click on the subscribe button and also turn on post notification so you will be the very first person to know when next we drop a life-changing and mind-transforming video. Thank you very much. Anyways, let's get right into the juice as fast as we possibly can. Hi guys. Today I want to talk about how to ensure your salary lasts for beyond just 30 days, but ensure that it actually serves you even for the long haul. But I began this video with a very powerful hook, talking about the fact that for some people they work for 30 full days and their salaries don't last for up to 7. It's almost like the reality of the middle class right now, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but in almost every country in the world, or most countries in the world, where it seems as though you are earning currently less than is needed for you to really survive. Here's what I'm going to tell you. This is not the video to share strategies on how to grow your income, even though I might as well just sneak in one more thing later towards the end. But the focus is to help you become a better manager of resources. And so this is not the video where you tell me, yeah, the salary is not even enough. How is it going to last for 30 days? I'm not here for the pity party. I'm here to help you pick up the pieces and make the most out of your pay at the moment and even beyond the 30-day mark. So I hope this helps. I want to give you quickly about 6 steps that I think will help you. The very first step is this. You need to learn to budget based on priorities and not wishes. Budget based on priorities and not wishes. Now, by wishes, popular saying is, if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. A lot of us have wishes. I also have wishes. For example, I want an LX600 and I want it tomorrow. Okay, I love Lexus and I want to buy an LX600, and in case you can afford it and buy for me, it's roughly 600 million naira, which is give or take about $400,000. Shouldn't cost so much money. Go and buy it for me. But those are just wishes, right? And so you can't build your life around wishes. You have to ensure that you prioritize for what's most important. And can I be honest, for the middle class, what's most important? You have to identify an essential list first. Your rent, your bills, your food, your transport. You need to, this is important, and also your savings, because you need to learn to treat savings like a fixed expense. Okay, and so let's start. Your rent. How many percent of your salary goes into your rent? For some of you, you might have to drop this. I've heard some people say this, and I think it's quite a sensible thing to say, that if your 2 to 3 months salary cannot pay your rent at the end of the year, then something is wrong. Which means, for example, that if you earn about 100,000 naira monthly and with a salary of that's about 1.2 million naira a year, your rent should really not be anything more than 300,000. Okay, I know it's not so easy, particularly judging from the whole real estate problems right now, particularly wherever you might be. But here's the point and the argument. It is, if your salary is ever going to be more than that amount of money, you need to not be staying alone, but staying with someone, and then ensure that you maximize it. Because if your salary is that, now that more or less means that your rent is about 25% of your entire income. Think about it, because 300 over 1.2 million is roughly 25%. That's a quarter. Okay, and which means that every single time your paycheck comes in, you must take a quarter into your rent. Okay, after that, food. In fact, it's already been said that I think I can't remember the exact statistic, but about 80% or 70% of Nigerians already spend most of their money on food per month, and that's already crazy. And so what I will tell you is this. First and foremost, let's be clear. Forget about the wants, forget about your wishes first. Rent, bills, food, transport, because transport is what conveys you to the office, and that's very important. Put those things first. Then all those extra wants, maybe you are craving ice cream, you are craving suya, as long as it is not extremely important and it's not a core need, you might have to move them away. So it's important first and foremost. Then anything that is left, before you begin to spend or splash any amount of money, you need to understand that savings are important. They must be treated like a fixed expense. So maybe you earn 500,000 naira in a month. Once you take out rent, once you take out bills, once you take out food, once you take out transport, the next thing is savings. Save a particular percentage before you now keep an extra amount of money on miscellaneous. And I'm also speaking to people in diaspora, for example, people in other countries watching me. Always prioritize your basic needs before you ever think about your wishes. This is the very first place to start. Remember, I said this is not a video where we can cry that the money is not enough. We're trying to make the most of the money that is currently available, which means the next point, which is point number 2. You must learn to track every naira. Learn to track every naira, or learn to track every pound, or learn to track every dollar. Now, because of the kind of money that you make, particularly as a lower middle class earner or middle class earner or something, you must understand that you do not have the luxury of being careless with where your money goes. You do not have the luxury of being careless where your money goes. One of the things that actually endeared me towards my wife when we were still dating was, this was about 3-4 years ago. She had left the university at the time, and then she was working a job as an intern at an oil and gas servicing company. And to be honest, it was an oil and gas servicing company, not necessarily an oil and gas company at the time. And she was also an intern, which means the pay wasn't so great. She was earning, if I'm not mistaken, about 110,000 naira every month, about 100,000 naira, but I can't remember, just years ago. And this is about 4 years back. And then one of the things that really moved me about her was this. I mean, obviously, I was earning significantly more than her at the time, and so I would say, "Oh, why are you entering bus at this time to this place? Why not use an Uber? Why not do this? Why not do that? Why not?" And she looked me in the eye and go, "I can't afford it." And so she's always clear, "I can't afford it." And I'm like, "Okay, why can't you afford it?" And she now shows me her sheet and says, "This is how much I made. This is how much it takes to get me to the office every single day. This is how much is left. This is how much I can spare. And definitely I can't spare enough money to take an Uber at this particular point." And my jaw just drops, because I'm naturally not the type of guy that does all those calculations, right? But here she was disciplined every single expense. I knew where it went. I have another friend of mine in Yolua. He also does this. He even writes the amount of money that goes into charges. Like, if he does a transfer, the 15 naira for charges, he writes it down. The amount of money he spends on food, he writes it down. He tracks every single expense. It's a superpower that I wish everybody can have, right? I'm trying these days, but man, I'm still not up to that point where I track every single penny. What I do is I budget, okay? And when a particular threshold is over, then I know I've spent more than that. So that's very important. But here's the point. If you are a middle class earner, now, little to no surprise that these two people I mentioned have actually grown in the income ladder, because they were very, very, very frugal, and they were very, 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 very particular about how their money was being spent. And so you need to know where your money goes. It's important, because this helps prevent unconscious leaks. Very important. In fact, there was a statistic by American Express in 2022 that said that people who actually track their expenses end up saving up to 35% more money monthly. This is very important, and you need to pay attention to it. That leads me to point number 3, which I've actually touched on a little bit earlier, but I think I'll just maybe speak about it just a bit for sake of accentuation and emphasis. It is, you need to learn to automate your savings. Truth is, if you don't learn to save, no matter how little, even if it's 1,000 every month, even if it's 100 pounds every month, you will almost never have enough reason to save. So there's something called paying yourself first. Pay yourself first. Move a portion of your salary immediately to savings and investment. There's a popular saying that try not to overspend by embracing the principle of learning to spend only what is left after saving. You don't save after spending. You spend after saving. That is very important. Automate your savings, and then everything else, okay, can now come after. So maybe after you sort out your needs, right, then your savings should be next, because sometimes your needs could fluctuate. But here's the point. Before you bring any frivolities or any unnecessary expenses into the frame, I'll always advise that you learn to automate your savings. At the moment the salary comes in, it's perhaps sent automatically to a particular account and then before you can withdraw any money for any of your expenses, your salary is automatically deducted. This, in my opinion, is a very brilliant idea, and I think it's something you should embrace. And it leads me to, very quickly, point number 4, which is that you need to learn to cut recurring small expenses that add up. This one, hey, I was sharing recently how there was a time where I was spending a particular amount of money on something that I liked. Sometimes it could be yogurt, it could be on this, on that, and before you know it, because the yogurt is 4,000 naira, it doesn't mean anything. But by the time you factor in that you buy that yogurt 5 times a week, and 4 times 5, 4,000 times 5, for example, spikes up to about 20,000, and in an entire month, that's about 80k towards 100,000 by the time you factor in the extra cost of delivery, for example. And another vein also, that's not the only thing you crave. You perhaps maybe crave another kind of snack, and then it keeps on piling up. And those 10,000 naira expenses every single day, one day piles up to about 300,000, and the extra, mindless 50,000 naira every now and then piles up to perhaps maybe 300,000 or 500,000 at the end of the month. And before you know it, every single 100,000 naira that you do not pay attention to at the end of every year will pile up to about 1.2 million. Every 500,000 you did not pay attention to will pile up to about 6 million, which will actually do you a world of good. And so here's the point. It's time to cut some recurring small expenses that always add up. They will always add up. So those daily snacks, those transport detours, those coffee runs, those those small habits that compound to very huge costs, ensure you cut it off. All those things might be good, and sometimes it might feel harmless. Those money you spend on ice cream every 3 days, the money you spend on extra puff every 3 days, you know what I'm talking about. If possible, let it go. See, if it's not directly important, if it's not perhaps a huge meal, there's, for some of you do not have the luxury of buying snacks, and that's okay. You don't have the luxury. Anybody, for example, who even offers or who gives an option of maybe you guys go grab something, ask the person, is it your treat? Is it your treat before I pay for this thing? This is very, very important, and I really hope this helps. And this leads me to the 5th point, which I want to talk about very quickly. If you want to maximize your salary and make sure that it actually even lasts beyond 30 days, this one might sound like a broke man's advice, but I really want you to embrace it. Switch to cheaper or replacement brands when prices spike up. Switch to cheaper or replacement brands when prices spike up. So here's the point. If a very popular brand that you always buy and you seem to have some form of loyalty to becomes expensive overnight, let me tell you something. The solution is not because of your blind loyalty to always just follow and just try to continue to buy. Let me tell you something. Try local brands, or sometimes buy in bulk. It shocked me sometimes when I saw 1 or 2 of my friends actually ordering. So if you are from where we are from in sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, there's something very prevalent here. It's called sachet water, right? Where people buy sachet water. It's like the cheapest type of water that is bought, okay, for drinking. And so people buy sachet water then. And there was a particular time where sachet water prices actually spiked up, right? And it was almost as though there was really nothing that could be done. And I saw one of my friends actually began to buy that thing in bulk. I felt, why are you buying in bulk? Where are you? He smiled at me. But whether you like it or not, he's right. Because by buying in bulk, by buying 12, for example, he's able to save up money for 2. So he more or less gets 12 at the price of maybe 14 or 15. And that's actually wisdom. Sometimes it will look as if it doesn't count or it doesn't matter, but it's actually adding up to something. So sometimes buy in bulk. Sometimes try local brands. Sometimes the only difference is the name. The only difference is the name. Smart shoppers know how to adjust without compromising lifestyle quality. So you have to find a way, particularly for things like detergents. check an alternative brand that offers a similar quality at lower cost. Let me tell you something. You must be a student of market segmentation and understand that sometimes the difference between the luxury brands and the cheaper ones is not really a massive drop off in quality. It's just packaging. And let me tell you the truth, your condition does not allow you to begin to make too many excuses. Find a way to adjust in a way that does not mean you overspend. I hope this helps. And it finally leads me to the final point in trying to help you manage your income a lot more. This one is like a tip for much more. It is get another stream of income. See, I said earlier I don't want to give you tips. I just wanted to help you manage this particular amount that you have. But honestly, I'll be a liar if I said a better solution will not be for you to get another stream of income. By another stream of income, I'm not necessarily talking about something that will juggle your time, that will take so much of your time, creep into your time, and make you less productive for your main job. But I'm just saying, open up your heart to information, open up your heart to knowledge from people, glean from people, and find out if there is another stream of income that you can embrace and use. Because relying on one source of income actually makes you vulnerable. I have a question to ask you. If you lose your job right now, what happens to your income streams? If you lose your job right now, how will you meet up with rent in the next 3 months? This is important. We never pray for anything to happen, but stuff happen. We hope for the best, but sometimes you have to prepare for the worst. This is important. And so you need to find a way to perhaps just get an extra stream of income. Maybe while you are doing your 9-to-5 job, find a way to sell something to your immediate friend group. Find a way to be a supplier or a middleman for something. I don't know how this can help you, but maybe you could perhaps open up yourself to high ticket sales. Maybe you could be an intermediary for a real estate company while still working as an accountant elsewhere. This is important. There was a data by the NOI poll, I think it was done 2 years ago, 2023, that actually showed that about 60% of Nigerians earn extra income through side hustles to cover for basic expenses. And see, if your income is so small, you can do something about it, particularly if you still have any semblance of freedom time-wise. Don't just lay down. Don't just lie. I can't begin to tell you how many streams of income I have. I'm telling you the truth. You have to find a way to create value for yourself. I really hope this helps. And just a bit of a recap, you need to learn to prioritize your essentials, save first, learn to track your expenditure. You have to look for example, cost-effective alternatives without compromising quality. And it is just my hope that these few points I've been able to give you go some way in helping you manage your finances better, and more importantly, helping you make more money, consequently, perhaps in the long run. And thank you so much for being a part of Mind Scale with Olushola. If this has been any way helpful to you, why not share with a friend? That friend that has been complaining about not being able to keep their money and do this and do that, share this with a friend. Share it with a friend, and they'll thank you for this so much. And please do not forget to click on the subscribe button and also turn on post notification, so you'll be the very first person to know when next I drop another mind-shaping and life-transforming video.
I hope this blessed you. In order to get more of this, please kindly hit that subscribe button, like this video so that YouTube can show it to more people, and also leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to have some interactions with you. Thank you for watching. My name is Thank God, and I'll see you in the next video.